Welcome back to the third episode of Incredible Taste Talk. Today's we got another special celebrity who is really famous for her food photography as well as recipe creation, and she's got a little surprise for us as well, which she'll reveal at the end of the show. Please welcome Olivia Moore.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to being on your podcast. It's a
Oh,
pleasure.
Thank you so much. Now it's great to have you here. Before we start talking about your journey, we're going to ask you one really important question, which is, what's your favorite dish at Incredible India?
It's going to have to be the dosa.
Yeah.
I love the paneer one. It's just, I don't know, I love that nice crispy pancake, and it comes out and it's so big. It's so
Yeah.
exciting because it's
Yeah.
so big and you can rip bits off and dip them into the sauces.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. No,
I
the
love it.
dosa's honestly, I think we were the first restaurant to bring the dosa
Yeah.
and topo,
I think so.
and to introduce that to the local market, and giving them as an entree as well to try it. I think it's been a really good hit as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great choice.
But I love
indeed.
it as a main. Like, it's just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it is
it's
quite
big.
filling.
Yeah, that's what we have it as lunch as well
Yeah.
sometimes. So
Yeah.
yeah. So tell us about your journey. How did you start? Because obviously you're quite young here. Yeah, I feel really old now talking to you. So you tell us how you started your journey and everything.
Yeah. Originally, I started that green olive. It was originally just an Instagram page where I was sharing about food. But I started getting brands reaching out to me asking, "Oh, would you put this product in your photos, and I'll give it to you for free in exchange for an Instagram post." And when I started, I was like, "Yeah, I may as well. Free
Yeah.
food, free
Yeah.
products." But then I started getting brands asking me for my rates, and then realized, well, I can actually make money from this.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to learn food photography. So I basically just looked at other people's photos that I liked and studied that way, experimented that way, and then developing recipes for those brands as well. So that, yeah, I mean, I needed to hone those creative skills as well. And I've always been so passionate about food. So that was just something that I naturally wanted to learn more about.
Yeah. And we follow that. Obviously, those photos looks amazing. You really want to, once you see that photo, you really want to eat that food.
Yeah.
So what's your inspiration in terms of in the kitchen, working in the kitchen and creating those recipes? What inspires you?
I get inspired. Well, I'm quite creative, so often if I'm introduced to new ingredients, I want to find different ways of using those, or it might even be that there's things in the fridge that need to be used up and they just happen to go on the plate together, and then you taste them together and you think, oh, that's actually a good combination. I might make a recipe
Oh, that's nice.
around that. Or if I'm working for clients, often they'll give me a brief anyway. So they might say, we need a Christmas themed peanut butter recipe that is savory, for example. And then, so from there, I already have criteria that I need to meet. So it becomes a lot easier for me to make something that fits that brief.
Yeah. And in terms of the photography, you have to make it look beautiful, but at the same time, that needs to be approachable or to the customers as well. How do you manage that balance in terms of the recipe creation, clicking a good photo, as well as that it's approachable to the bigger audience as well? Yeah.
That's because I am so creative and I want to use new exciting ingredients that maybe some people might not have heard of before. That's a struggle to try and it is a fine line between too out there and approachable. But a lot of brands now, like there's so much content out there on social media. So brands want something that is a little bit different. So you do have to try and at least still appeal to the market. You've got to make it easy enough or approachable enough, but still different. And so it's kind of, just finding new ways, even if it's a recipe that's familiar, but putting a new twist on it, finding new ways so that people can still feel like they can do it.
They can do it, yeah. And it's important to have a recipe when people can create it at
Yeah.
home. You buying the ingredients from their local grocery store, or having those ingredients right on their doorstep. And obviously you enjoy that, but let's say if somebody's starting new, what would you recommend them to start? Do they have to have a big cameras in place, or they have to have better lighting and all of that. But what's your suggestion if somebody want to start it out into a photography business or a recipe creation? What would you recommend to them?
Yeah, well, with photography, like I now use artificial lights,
Mm-hmm.
but for probably 3 4 years I just use natural light. I didn't have any artificial lights. And you can make really good photography with natural light. You've just got to understand, I mean, every day is different. Like bright sunlight is
Yeah.
gonna cause harsh shadows, which does work if you want that sort of look, but it's not always applicable. So, but I think just learning, just studying the light and
Light,
just
yeah.
understanding how the light can impact the mood of your photo. You don't need all the fancy equipment. You just
Yes.
need to understand and be creative.
Yeah, it's like us. We don't have a fancy equipment yet, but you're right here. Moving
Yeah,
forward,
yeah, exactly. And as soon as you understand
Yeah.
what you're working with, then you can understand why you need,
Yeah.
different equipment or the advantages of this over this. You just got to understand first.
Understand the whole lighting and how, and follow the passion as well.
Yeah,
I think if
yeah.
you really want to start something, start it. Don't wait for fancy equipment, cameras or anything. Just start with the phone nowadays. I think
Yeah.
it's quite easy to start with the phone
Yeah,
nowadays.
because you understand composition as well.
Yeah.
But there are so many rules within photography. Not really rules, but more guidelines.
Yeah.
But once you even with a camera, even if you're just looking and thinking in a box
Yeah.
like a camera screen, just envisioning those certain rules and principles.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what camera you have, but as long as you understand those principles, then you can create
Then
really
you
good
can
work.
create good work, yeah. And you love to travel, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I always think that while you're traveling, that you learn a lot about the different cultures, the food, and everything. Do you feel the same way, like while you're traveling?
Definitely, yeah. Well, that's also a huge inspiration, because when you travel, you see ingredients that you have back home, but they're used in different ways. Or, I mean, I was recently in Morocco. The spices over there, like we have cumin and coriander and things over here, but they could never compare to the spices. And same as with India as well.
Yeah.
Some of the spices that you would get here, even though it's the same spice, but it does not compare to the fresh.
Yeah. It's always different.
It's
when you
always
come-
different.
Yeah. And same with the traveling now. You got something more exciting as well, which is coming up, which we can say. Do you want to talk
Yes.
more about it and show it probably closer to the camera? Or what?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this book, my first cookbook, I've been working on it for probably 14 months, I would say.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
It's man, yeah. It's Penguin Random House, so they've published it. But I did all of the recipe development, all of the photography, the writing,
Yeah.
everything. So it was a matter of creating the recipes, testing them at least 3 times, giving them out to people to taste them, and say, give me feedback, give me harsh feedback, because I need real feedback, and then styling, photographing, editing, typing.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Sending it to the editor, and then they would send things back to me and say, "Oh, we need to cut out 10 recipes because there's not enough space," or whatever it was. But there was a lot of back and forth, and just trying to get it into this.
Into that. So when's that launching, or is it already launched, or is it you got a launch coming up, isn't it?
So well, pre-orders are currently open, but the book officially launches on the 3rd of September. 3rd of September.
Oh, that's right. And were you launching that in Taupo, or the launching?
We're going to do a public launch at Paper Plus on the 6th of September.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's
So,
nice.
anyone come along. It's open to the public.
No, we'll be definitely there because we're looking forward to, even though we have seen it, but we will be the first ones buying it as well. So, we're looking forward to it. Yeah.
Awesome to have as many people there, because it is open to the public. So there'll be nibbles. I'll cook some of the recipes from the book to have as little nibbles as well. There'll be drinks, meet and greet, book signings. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. You have definitely made waves around New Zealand for sure with your food photography, your recipe creation, now the book as well.
Oh, thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much. It was great to have you here as well. Today, and thank you for coming along and also working with our businesses to do all the photo shoots and all of things. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming.
No, thanks so much for having me.
So my pleasure. Hey, thank you so much. thank you so much for joining us to the third episode. That was Olivia Moore, and her book is coming very soon. Please do go and buy it, support it. She's our own New Zealand celebrity now, isn't it? Yeah, so thank you so much. And stay tuned for the fourth episode coming very soon. Thank you.